Shannon is an icon in international aviation. One of Europe's first transatlantic airports, home to the longest runway in Ireland and the world's first duty-free.
This is great. This is what it's all about.
But recent years have been tough, with a huge decline in passenger numbers. Now Shannon's fighting back, with a new boss and new ideas.
I think ideas are important. You need to do things differently and you need to do different things.
But it won't be easy, as the staff take on the challenges of reviving Shannon's fortunes while dealing with the day-to-day demands of an international airport.
So I'm the housekeeper. I mind the fort. I do what needs to be done.
Coming up, keeping Shannon secure.
Yeah, this is oversized. It won't be allowed to go through. Sorry.
Michael O'Leary gets lost in translation.
Where's our Polish speaker? I need my Polish speaker.
And Prince Charles touches down.
How are we going to make sure those passengers are kept away from VIP?
With over 8 million people flying worldwide every day, the challenge of keeping them safe has never been greater. At Shannon, it's up to the police and fire service, along with airport security personnel, to ensure that aircraft, passengers and flight crew come to no harm. It's mid-morning, one of the busiest times of the day at Shannon, and the airport's passenger screening is in full flow. This is the last major security check for people before they board their planes.
Next, sir.
Mind if I open this, sir?
And there's an iPad, so maybe check it up around the bag for me. Hands up like this. A little bit higher. And slowly turn around until you face me again.
Now, hold this bag here, guys. Yeah, this is oversized. It won't be allowed to go through. Sorry about that.
Casting a watchful eye on proceedings is the man in charge of safeguarding Shannon, the airport's head of security, John Francis.
I have been in the airport police in Shannon Airport since 1984. We're authorised officers, which means we have a power to stop, detain, search any person, providing we have reasonable suspicion that they've done something wrong. There's one thing you will never hear me saying when I come up here. I will never tell them to hurry up. They have a function to perform. The objective of this area here is to make sure that it is executed effectively, that they're effective to detect any prohibited article of any description, whether it's a liquid, whether it is a weapon or something that has the potential to be used as a weapon, that it's detected here and it's held here and it's not allowed to go on any commercial flight.
Outside the terminal, security is taken just as seriously. Officer James McCue is setting off to patrol the airport's perimeter fence.
Ground is Rescue 1-2. I want to commence the perimeter fence patrol. I'd like to enter the perimeter fence, please, at stand 42.
Rescue 1-2, roger, proceed.
There's often more than one patrol out here. At the moment, we have 2 guys out here doing 2 patrols, so they're constantly circulating the area, as well as carrying out other duties on the airfield. The perimeter fence is it's 10.5 kilometres in length, so it's a huge area that has to be patrolled at all times. Basically, what I'm doing here, from time to time, I often take a drive out myself just to have a look at the gates, have a look at the fence, just ensure that the perimeter fence isn't in any way compromised. To make sure all the gates are secure. There's 21 perimeter fence gates. The idea of those is that if there is an accident outside of the perimeter fence, it's a quick way of us getting out to a specific area. As well as keeping the public out. You notice the perimeter fence is pretty much sealed along at the ground level, just to keep any kind of dogs or kind of wildlife like that out. Perimeter fence has to be maintained and can't be compromised. We'd like to think the Shannon Airport is one of the most secure airports in Europe, based on the systems we have in place, the various security technologies we have in operation in the Airport Police Fire Service, and we try to keep our staff focused along those lines. That we have a job to do, and we have to ensure that it's done.
At Helping James and his colleagues do their job is Shannon's state-of-the-art CCTV system that uses over 200 cameras to watch the airport at any given time.
Once you approach the airport, from the approach road all the way through to the car parks, all the way through to the aircraft, you are under surveillance by one of our assets and one of our cameras. The system is quite smart and it's very, very intuitive, and it works, and it's very, very effective.
Because the cameras are constantly monitored, incidents can be spotted before they get out of hand.
Okay, well here I suppose is an incident I won't say is typical, but is not unusual, where we would encounter maybe a difficult person at our screening checkpoint. You can see, I suppose, quite clearly that the individual involved is quite animated and quite aggressive. He seems to be a very, very highly strung type of individual, and I think that, you know, there was certainly going to be an occurrence with him somewhere on his journey, and it happened to be at the checkpoint when he just boiled over. And I was quite concerned at the time that Tom would have got assaulted by this individual. He was actually going on the flight to Boston, which is, as you know, can take up to 7 hours flight duration. And, you know, if someone is at that level of agitation this early on before they board the flight at all, then you can see that there will be trouble ahead.
John's primary concern is to move the individual away from fellow passengers before attempting to defuse the situation.
He didn't fly on that particular day. He is a concern for other people who are trying to go through about their business. But the decision was made fairly early on, especially when the flight crew who had passed through had witnessed this incident live. We did manage to get him to the point where he sat down, and the Gardaí then arrived, and he was escorted landside, and he didn't fly on that day.
Security at Shannon is always a top priority, and it's never more important than when the airport is welcoming a high-profile VIP, and they don't get much higher than British royalty, His Royal Highness Prince Charles. So it's a big day for Ken Fielding of Signature Flight Support, the agents handling the Royal Aircraft's logistics.
Today we have a VVIP coming in, so there's a lot of extra security and a lot of extra work involved, so it'll be an interesting day, busy day, you know. We'll have the Prince of Wales and Camilla Parker Bowles also as well. Quid? I don't know, what is the right way to refer to them?
Duchess of... Duchess of...
Is she Duchess of...
Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall.
It is very, very secretive because of what's involved. There isn't a whole lot of information being given out, so it's on a kind of a need-to-know basis. So we're just getting drip feed sort of things prior to the aircraft's arrival. We'll know more, you know. It's very, very different to every, would say, normal day here. So it's like I said, it's a historical visit. So definitely, it's nice to be involved from that point of view.
Ken and his team need to ensure that the Prince and Duchess's plane is looked after when it lands, and that everything is in place for their onward travel.
The British RAF helicopter is down below our hangar at the moment, which will be moving the Prince and the Duchess, and we're going to reposition it up to stand probably in about the next half hour or so, just to have it ready and set up before the main aircraft's arrival. We'll have guards with it at all times, no matter where it moves in the airfield, and also I think the airport police will be standing close by as well. Perfect. So I told Marie I'd just be up here for when the taxi gets down, but we're going to let them park themselves basically. I presume they'll know they're all set up and everything like that. Great. Okay. And we're going to bring the other helicopter probably up around 10:30 or so. We reckon up on stand 28. Yeah. Okay. Talk to you in a while. Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye. It's all kicking off now. So this is the first arrival, and then from there we'll be busy probably for about the next 2 hours anyway. I think, you know, up until about 20 minutes after the aircraft arrives, and then we'll get that put to bed, and the VIPs will be on their way and everything at that stage.
At the terminal, dignitaries are gathering to greet the royal couple, all under the watchful eye of Director of Operations Niall Maloney.
It just brings a different level of security than the normal one that you would have through here. In terms of, obviously, you know, delighted to have the royal family into the airport. It's probably the highest profile members of the royal family I've seen in like 33 years here. But just in terms of, you know, there's a greater security or alertness in our own staff, and obviously the Garda Síochána who are providing security on the flight. There are a number of impacts of the VIP visit. Obviously we've had to clear an area of parking stands that we normally use for commercial aircraft, and park aircraft elsewhere. So there's some level of discommoding of our airline customers, of our passengers. We try and minimise that as much as possible. In one sense, you're delighted to have the VIP visitors here. Equally, you're equally delighted when they're gone because you're back to normal operations, and the people you work with every day of the week, you have to make sure that they're happy, because if you've unhappy station managers or unhappy passengers, they're the people who can give you grief every day. VIP only give you grief once.
Some of the scenes, and the Queen wrote back and gave me permission to do it, but said she wanted to see the work when it was finished. So when the paintings were completed, I photographed them, sent them to Buckingham Palace, and asked the Queen would she like to have one of them. So to my great delight, she wrote back to me, and the letter is here. I have had it framed. It's from Buckingham Palace on the 14th of July 2014, where she says, "Dear Mr. Hanrahan, thank you for your letters regarding the visit of the President. It was thoughtful of you to offer to give one of the paintings to the Queen as a gift. Perhaps you would consider sending the painting of the horse-drawn carriage procession." So next Monday, that is the painting that I'll be taking. So I'm thrilled about that.
At the airport, Aer Lingus duty manager Sandra Marsh is going to make sure the precious cargo gets to Her Majesty in one piece.
Nice to meet you. I see you have it very well branded. Nobody's going to mistake what you're carrying this morning anyway. And are you expecting people to be questioning you and asking questions based on the sticker you have on the front of it this morning? I'm sure you'd like to engage with people about the whole thing.
Well, there will be a little bit of activity at Buckingham Palace before I go in.
Okay. You know, there's an Irish expression, a guard wouldn't ask me that, but are you being well remunerated for doing this for her?
This is a gift.
Oh, very good. Well, then no remuneration at all. Very good. Okay. In good spirit and all that.
Once the painting and its creator have cleared security screening, Sandra can't resist having a sneak peek.
Do you mind if I take a picture of her?
I will take one yourself and myself.
Okay, fantastic.
Maybe.
So is it? Oh, wow.
Well, it's an impression of a beautiful day in April with the ceremony of the horse-drawn carriage. It's known as the Diamond Jubilee carriage, or also known as the Australian State carriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to get the colour, the atmosphere, the horses.
I absolutely love it. You're a very lucky man, Michael. Some people would spend a lifetime trying to get to a position where you are now.
I find the more I practice, the luckier I get. And I have paintings in the White House in Washington, in Áras an Uachtaráin, in Buckingham Palace, and in the Kennedy Library.
And with that, the painting is ushered on board the plane, where it will sit safely in the cockpit all the way to London before being delivered to the palace. In arrivals, duty manager Natasha Nocton is preparing to meet the king of low-cost aviation. Michael O'Leary is paying a whirlwind visit to celebrate a milestone at Shannon.
Okay, so this morning Ryanair celebrated the 13th millionth passenger going through Shannon Airport, and Michael O'Leary is about to arrive on his own aircraft now, and the passenger should be going out on the Rockcliffe flight. We don't know who the passenger is yet, and he's going to be here to make sure that he meets and greets and congratulates and gives them their little present.
After a swift greeting from the man himself, Natasha whisks him off to a VIP lounge for a quick powwow with the Minister for Finance.
He gave me a kiss on the cheek. I'm keeping that low profile now because I am married. It's nice to meet him in person. It looks very similar actually. Usually, you know, when you meet people, or you'd see them on television, you'd say to yourself, you know, when you meet them in reality, God, you know, they're different or whatever, but Michael O'Leary is Michael O'Leary.
Michael is here to personally present free flights to a lucky passenger travelling to Wrocław in Poland. But Ryanair's quick turnaround policy means they wait for no one, not even the boss. So he needs to get a move on.
And we're very pleased to announce that the person who's the 13 millionth passenger is Emilia Rashuta. That is
It looks like Michael needs to brush up on his Polish. Confronted by confused-looking passengers, and with the plane waiting to board, he goes in search of his quarry.
Mr. Peter and Marta Raduta, please. Where's our Polish speaker? I need my Polish speaker. Marta?
Yes.
Raduta? Yes, congratulations. You're our 13th millionth passenger. From Shannon. So we have a very, very clear 3 flights for you and the baby, and also hotel accommodation. Okay? One for you. Now.
With the dazed winners still taking it all in, there's just enough time for a swift photo opportunity. And Mr. O'Leary is off again.
Yeah, he's fairly lively, all right. As one of the lads there said, it's very hard to keep up to him. You nearly want to have your flats on, because once he takes off, he takes off.
Back in Lahinch, Michael Hanrahan has returned from his visit to Buckingham Palace.
Captain Collins from Aer Lingus flew me from Shannon Airport into Heathrow, and before we left the plane, we just took that photograph. We weren't allowed to bring cameras in, so the only opportunity I had to get a photograph was right outside Buckingham Palace. It was my painting at that moment. 5 minutes later, belongs to the Queen of England. When we arrived there, after the various security checks, we were brought up to the Chinese dining room, a very special room, and there were various reception and tea and drinks, and then there was the actual handover of the painting. No, the Queen wasn't there. The Queen hadn't arrived back from Balmoral. I asked the chief clerk where would the painting be hung, and he told me that the Queen will make that selection. She decides exactly where it will be hung.
And with his painting now adorning the royal residence, for Michael, it's onwards and upwards.
I've recently been appointed the artist in residence by Donald Trump at Trump Golf Club Doonbeg. So over the next few weeks, I'll be working in Doonbeg, trying to capture the beautiful scenery and the surrounding. It's very exciting, and much more exciting than sitting behind a bank manager's desk, I can assure you.
After their 4-day visit to Ireland, Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall are flying home. And once again, Niall is on hand to ensure a smooth and hopefully speedy departure.
Obviously, we're in an operational airport. We have 2 flights to board around the same time. So we just have to manage how we're going to board those passengers, to make sure those passengers are kept away from the departing VIP. Ryanair are no different than any other airline. They don't do waiting. So obviously we want to make sure they go out on time as well too. So we sneak them out one door and then keep this area free of passengers. As you can see, the aircraft is now parked parallel to the building, which is unusual configuration. But what it allows us to do is to get the VIP cortege close to the aircraft, and the aircraft can taxi out then under its own power without having to push it back. There's quite a significant Garda presence here today. That'll maintain. So the key thing is ever to keep alert to your air because it's like a soccer match. You only can see the goal in the last minute, and we just want to make sure that that's what doesn't happen here today. Not on our turf, anyway. Sorry?
Not too much confetti on it.
No, I got 2 keens this morning. Sorry? Oh no, weddings, bar mitzvahs, we're willing to lend anything that's a few bobbers we're willing to do.
This is the last few minutes in terms of very little to be done now in terms of matters of the aircraft, the vehicles arriving, the meet and greet, and then as soon as everyone has done the meet and greet, just literally get everything way aside.
Once the formalities are over, and the royal couple have boarded their plane, Niall has to move the dignitaries to a safe distance from the jet before it can leave.
Well, now, if you all move, this guy won't be able to start up until he's...
Which is proving difficult.
Yeah, no. Okay. Pat, we get these guys moved.
while they start the engines.
Eventually, the crowd are politely coaxed to safety.
No problem.
The royal flight is given the all clear, and Niall can get Shannon up and running again.
Like people gone. When it's all over, just move on. Let's get on. I'm sure we've normal business to get to resume to as well too. So soon we get them in and they can wave goodbye. We welcome these kind of visits with the questions of getting the airport back to normal. You know, you do get the pressure from the other operators who are here every day to make sure that their operations aren't impacted upon. So trying to match both. Delighted to have the visit, but I'm sure the operators will be happy themselves to have everything return to normal as quickly as possible.
So all a day's work, that's really what it is.
Next time, traffic troubles.
Saying that they need to get more vigorous and aggressive because, I mean, otherwise we'd replace them with traffic cones.
A rookie stunt pilot gets his wings.
The day is finally here now, and I just want to go and do it, you know? And I'm not going to look back.
As Shannon hosts its anniversary air display.